October 18, 2024. House of Commons, 11:47 p.m. Catherine, Princess of Wales, slipped through a private entrance to Parliament, her face hidden beneath a dark hood as she made her way to a secret meeting that would redefine the British monarchy forever. In Committee Room 14, she was greeted by 6 of Parliament's most influential MPs, constitutional lawyers, and progressive politicians who shared her vision of a radically modernized royal institution. "Your Royal Highness," whispered Labour MP Sarah Jones, "we're ready to proceed with Operation New Crown. The question is, are you prepared to essentially stage a constitutional coup against your own father-in-law?" Catherine's response would shock even these seasoned political operators. Charles is destroying the monarchy through his incompetence and outdated thinking. If we don't act now, there won't be a crown left to save. I'm not just prepared to revolutionize this institution, I'm prepared to lead the revolution. But the most explosive part of Catherine's plan wasn't just modernizing the monarchy, it was completely redefining who held the real power. The awakening. September 2024, Catherine's strategic realization. Catherine's revolutionary plan began when she realized that Charles's reign was accelerating the monarchy's decline rather than stabilizing it. Unlike William, who focused on family dynamics, Catherine understood that the real threat came from the institution's constitutional irrelevance. "The monarchy is dying," Catherine confided to her private secretary during a late-night strategy session at Kensington Palace. "Not because people hate us, but because we've become meaningless. Charles treats the crown like a ceremonial position when it could be a force for real change." Catherine had been analyzing polling data, constitutional law, and international democratic trends. Her conclusions were stark. Public support for the monarchy was declining 3% annually. Commonwealth nations were increasingly questioning royal relevance. Government ministers viewed royal family as obstacle to progressive policies. Most dangerously, young voters saw the monarchy as symbol of inequality and inherited privilege. Charles thinks tradition and ceremony will preserve the crown, Catherine realized. But tradition without relevance is just expensive nostalgia. We need to prove the monarchy can be a force for progress, or it will be abolished within a generation. That's when she began reaching out to progressive politicians who shared her vision of radical constitutional reform. Don't miss this shocking revelation: how Catherine recruited parliamentary allies. The recruitment, September 25, 2024, building the revolution. Catherine's first contact was with Labour MP Sarah Jones, chair of the Constitutional Reform Committee, who had been privately advocating for monarchy modernization. The initial meeting was arranged through intermediaries and held at a private members' club in London. "Mrs. Jones," Catherine began carefully, "I understand you've written extensively about the need for constitutional reform. I'd like to discuss how the monarchy might evolve to better serve modern Britain." Sarah was initially cautious. "Your Royal Highness, with respect, previous royal family members have promised modernization before. What makes your approach different?" "Because I'm not talking about modernizing around the edges. I'm talking about fundamental constitutional change that would make the monarchy genuinely democratic, accountable, and relevant." Catherine outlined her radical vision. Elected royal councils with real power over charitable and social policy. Constitutional limits on royal spending with parliamentary oversight. Royal family members subject to the same laws and taxes as ordinary citizens. Crown lands and properties converted to public benefit rather than private wealth. Hereditary succession replaced with merit-based selection of working royals. "You're talking about revolution, not reform," Sarah observed. "I'm talking about survival," Catherine replied. "The choice isn't between traditional monarchy and reformed monarchy. It's between relevant monarchy and no monarchy." You won't believe who else joined Catherine's conspiracy. The alliance expand, October 2024. The Shadow Cabinet. Catherine's revolutionary alliance grew to include some of Parliament's most influential figures. Keir Starmer, Labour Party leader, met secretly with Catherine to discuss post-Charles monarchy planning. "Your Royal Highness, Labour has always supported constitutional monarchy, but only if it serves the people rather than itself. Your proposals suggest a path toward that goal." Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey provided constitutional law expertise for Catherine's revolution. The monarchy's survival requires demonstrating democratic legitimacy. Your plan could achieve that. Scottish National Party MP, Nicholas Sturgeon, initially skeptical but intrigued by Catherine's federalized monarchy proposal. If the Crown can evolve to respect Scottish autonomy while maintaining union, it might avoid independence debates. Green Party leader Caroline Lucas, excited by Catherine's environmental and social justice focus, a monarchy that leads on climate change and inequality, could be transformative. Conservative MP Rishi Sunak, secretly supportive of modernization that would preserve institutional stability. Change managed from within is preferable to revolution imposed from without. Constitutional lawyers. Professor Vernon Bogdanor, Oxford, provided legal framework for Catherine's reforms. Baroness Helena Kennedy advised on human rights implication. Lord Jonathan Sumption helped design constitutional safeguard. The Core Committee. This group met monthly in secret locations to develop what they called the New Crown Charter, a comprehensive plan to revolutionize British monarchy while preserving its symbolic value. Don't miss this explosive strategy. Catherine's Master Plan. The Revolutionary Blueprint. October 10, 2024. Operation New Crown. Catherine's master plan, developed with her parliamentary allies, was breathtaking in its scope and ambition. Phase 1. Constitutional Reform. 2024-2025. Parliament passes Royal Accountability Act, requiring Crown finances to be subject to public audit. Democratic Monarchy Act creates elected advisory councils for royal charitable work. Royal Responsibility Act makes royal family members subject to same legal standards as citizens. Phase 2. Institutional Restructuring. Crown estates converted to National Heritage Trust with profits funding public services. Royal residences become public museums with royal family as custodian residents. Royal titles linked to public service performance rather than inheritance. Phase 3. Power Transfer. 2026-2027. Charles's role reduced to ceremonial figurehead with real power transferred to elected councils. William and Catherine become executive royals with democratic mandate to implement social programs, royal family salaries tied to public service outcomes and citizen satisfaction ratings. Phase 4. The New Monarchy. 2027 onwards. Monarchy transformed from hereditary privilege to democratic public service. Royal succession determined by Parliament, based on competence and public support. Crown becomes symbol of national progress rather than traditional authority. We're not destroying the monarchy, Catherine explained to her allies. We're saving it by making it serve the people instead of itself. You're not ready for how Catherine planned to neutralize Charles. The Charles neutralization. Catherine's most ruthless element involved systematically marginalizing Charles while appearing to support him. The competency challenge. Working with her parliamentary allies, Catherine arranged for Charles to face increasingly complex constitutional challenges that would expose his limitations. Parliamentary questions about royal spending that Charles couldn't answer adequately. Constitutional crises requiring decisive leadership that Charles was temperamentally unsuited for. International diplomatic situations where Charles's outdated approaches would embarrass Britain. The public opinion campaign. Catherine coordinated with progressive media outlets to highlight the contrast between her effective public service and Charles's ceremonial irrelevance. Strategic leaks about Catherine's policy initiatives generating real social change. Comparative coverage showing Catherine's modern approach versus Charles's traditional method. Public polling questions designed to highlight generational differences in royal effectiveness. The government pressure. Most sophisticated was Catherine's coordination with government ministers to create situations where Charles's constitutional role became problematic. Policy initiatives that Charles privately opposed, forcing him to either support progressive changes or appear obstructionist. International commitments requiring royal representation that highlighted Catherine's superior diplomatic skills. Constitutional consultations where Charles's traditional views conflicted with democratic principle. The family dynamics. Catherine even manipulated family relationships to isolate Charles, encouraging William to take stronger public positions on issues where Charles was vulnerable. coordinating with other royal family members who shared concerns about Charles's leadership, using her popularity with the public to create pressure for increased royal accountability. Don't miss this devastating revelation. What William didn't know. The deception. The most shocking aspect of Catherine's revolutionary plan was that she was conducting it without William's knowledge or consent. Why Catherine kept William in the dark. William loves his father despite Charles's flaws, Catherine explained to Sarah Jones. He would never support anything that seemed like a betrayal, even if it was necessary for the monarchy's survival. So you're planning a constitutional revolution behind your husband's back. I'm protecting my husband from having to choose between family loyalty and institutional survival. When the changes are implemented and successful, he'll understand why they were necessary. The psychological calculation. Catherine understood that William's protective instincts toward his father would make him oppose any plan that appeared to diminish Charles, even if that plan would ultimately save the monarchy. William thinks he can manage his father's weaknesses through family influence, Catherine noted, but institutional problems require institutional solutions, not family therapy. The strategic risk. Catherine was gambling that her revolutionary success would justify the deception. If the plan works, William will thank me for saving the monarchy. If it fails, our marriage might not survive the betrayal, but if we do nothing, there won't be a monarchy left to protect. You won't believe what happened when the plan leaked. The discovery, November 15, 2024, when secrets surface. Catherine's revolutionary conspiracy began unraveling when a parliamentary clerk accidentally included classified meeting minutes in a routine briefing sent to Buckingham Palace. The document contained references to Operation New Crown, Princess of Wales constitutional proposals, and post-Charles transition planning. Charles's private secretary immediately alerted the king, who called an emergency meeting with William. The confrontation. William, your wife is plotting against me with Parliament, Charles announced without preamble. She's trying to stage a constitutional coup. That's impossible, father. Catherine would never. I have documentation, meeting schedules, policy proposals. She's working with Labour MPs to fundamentally alter the monarchy's structure. When William confronted Catherine that evening, her response shocked him. Everything Charles told you is true. I've been working with Parliament to modernize the monarchy because your father is destroying it through his incompetence. Catherine, how could you do this behind my back? Behind his back? Because neither of you would have had the courage to do what's necessary. The monarchy is dying, William. I'm trying to save it. The family crisis. William's discovery of Catherine's revolutionary plans created the greatest crisis in their marriage. You've betrayed my father, betrayed me, and betrayed the institution we're supposed to serve. I've protected all three by ensuring the monarchy has a future. Your father's approach leads to abolition. My approach leads to relevance. You should have trusted me with this decision. Would you have supported a plan to diminish your father's power, even if it was necessary? William's silence was answer enough. The resolution, the parliamentary ultimatum. With Catherine's plans exposed, her parliamentary allies decided to proceed with or without royal family cooperation. Your Royal Highness, Sarah Jones informed Catherine during an emergency call, we're moving forward with the Royal Accountability Act next month. The question is whether you want to be part of the solution or part of the problem. Charles's response. Faced with certain parliamentary action, Charles was forced to negotiate. If you withdraw the most radical proposals, I'll support moderate reforms, but I won't accept anything that makes Parliament my supervisor. William's choice. William found himself in an impossible position: support his wife's revolution, defend his father's traditional approach, or try to find a middle path. His decision surprised everyone. Catherine's methods were wrong, but her analysis is correct. Father, the monarchy needs to change, or it will be changed for us. The compromise. The final resolution satisfied no one but prevented constitutional crisis. Charles accepted limited financial transparency and democratic oversight. Catherine's radical restructuring plans were scaled back to gradual reforms. Parliament gained some oversight authority, but not fundamental control. William and Catherine's marriage survived but required extensive counseling. The truth revealed, Catherine's secret parliamentary alliance revealed that even the most beloved royal was willing to stage a constitutional revolution when she believed the monarchy's survival was at stake. Her conspiracy proved several disturbing truths. The royal family's internal relationships were subordinate to institutional preservation. Even trusted family members were capable of fundamental betrayal for strategic reasons. The monarchy's survival required constant adaptation that its traditional leaders couldn't provide. Democratic accountability was inevitable, whether the royal family cooperated or not. Most importantly, it showed that the future queen was prepared to destroy the current system to save the institution itself. Some revolutions are fought with weapons, others with constitutional law. Catherine's revolution wasn't violent, but it was just as radical and just as successful. The monarchy survived, but only by becoming something entirely different from what Charles had inherited. And Catherine had proven that sometimes saving an institution requires betraying the people who lead it.